And finally, well, that's a small extract from a new musical composition called Symphony of Voices. It's being released to mark the start on Monday, tomorrow, of the UN's Refugee Week, which acknowledges the plight of the millions of refugees around the world. It was written by Tom Donald and recorded with the Citizens of the World Choir, which is made up of refugees and other people from across the British capital. We're hoping to speak to Tom in a moment. We can, though, speak to choir member Stanford Biti, who is originally from Zimbabwe. Stanford, welcome. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Like what you've said, my name is Stanford Biti. I left Zimbabwe in 2006, fleeing persecution from the ZANU-PF regime in Zimbabwe. Since 2006 up to today, nothing has changed in terms of repression in Zimbabwe, and the things are actually getting worse than the way they were before.
Tell me about you and this choir. How did you get involved?
The choir was started about 2-3 years ago. An advert was circulated within the refugee community. I put myself forward. I went with my lovely friends, Charles Liwayo, Mara Christie, and myself. I don't have a very nice singing voice. When we got to the choir, I thought I was going to offer them skills which I have, management, looking for funds, but really I had passion to be part and parcel of the choir because of my lived experience in the exile. So when I got to the choir, Becky Dale, our choir director, actually said that there's no one who cannot sing in the world. Everyone can sing. Just imagine when you go to shower, have a shower, don't you sing? Just imagine when you're happy or you're sad, you sing. So everyone can sing. So there's no one who's going to sit down. We all stand up and sing. So that's how I found myself on in the choir and singing.
Well, that's a lovely story. Tom Donald is now able to join us. He wrote this symphony. Tell me about the idea, Tom, and how it came about.
Well, I often say that this symphony was something that happened by accident. In the sense that at the beginning of 2021 here in the UK, we were in, I think, the third lockdown, and it was a long winter. It was a challenging time, and we had meant to be composing some new music. We'd meant to be going to the recording studio, and we'd had this schedule lined up that was all cancelled. And choirs around the world have really been struggling in this time with quite a contentious issue of can choirs meet up? Is it safe to meet up? And I just thought, and with the incredible spirit of this community as a choir, we said, well, let's just try stuff and see what happens. And using my home recording studio and I guess the miracles of modern technology, Zoom, WhatsApp, and that might sound very low end, but combining those technologies with newer studio digital technologies, I ran people's voices and spoken word through the rehearsals, through synthesizers and experimented really. And very, very slowly, over a couple of months, this somewhat digital symphony emerged. And I always feel like it almost happened by accident. So.
And those voices include Stanford's. We've just been talking to him. He didn't think he could sing, but obviously he was wrong about that. So he's a part of that. I just wanted to bring my two guests in with just some sort of brief thoughts about what they're hearing and the sort of the music and the message. Ellie, I mean, it's a very uplifting story, this really, isn't it?
No, absolutely. And I think singing and music can be very cathartic in helping people cope with grief and hardship. And really a question I had for Tom is, is there a higher goal that you're aiming for with this choir and with this music in terms of generating support for refugee communities, particularly in Europe, that have, over the past few years with the conflicts we've seen around the world, it's not been the easiest times for refugees in Europe?
Yes, the role of the choir has always been about awareness of these issues, but has always also been about bringing people together through the power of music. But I somewhat feel since the pandemic, the role of the choir our motto almost has developed into let's make the impossible possible. And that's really what it feels like, what has been accomplished in the last few months. And that's testament to the choir.
Oscar, a word from you on this.
Let's make the impossible possible. That seems to me the best way to end the program, because music is indeed not only a matter of catharsis, but it also makes us aware of how isolation, hostility towards immigrant and refugee communities produces the kinds of conditions that in fact make people ill mentally and physically. So this coming together is a way of healing together while changing the environment around us.
And Tom, how can people access the symphony?
So the symphony will be released tomorrow, and it will be released on the platform Bandcamp. So if you type into Google Bandcamp Citizens of the World Choir, you will find the symphony.
Well, that's great. We're going to play out with some of it as well. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Stanford. Congratulations on the symphony. Thanks to Oscar and to Ellie for being a part of the programme throughout. And here's a little bit more of Symphony of Voices.